Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into another Supatease video. And a viewer requested that I try Beast Mastery Hunter with full mastery gear last night on my stream. And I have to tell you that, everybody's talking about Windwalker monks, shadow priests, and mages, and these guys are the best classes, and feral druids, and they're throwing them into the ring. Beast Mastery Hunter is absolutely insane, and I was playing it as pack leader, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down my solo shuffle last night that made me really feel the power that it's got. It is a massive powerhouse. It's still the same old Beast Mastery Hunter that you know and love. We're going to be keeping Barb Shot up on our main target, as well as spamming the ever-living crap out of Kill Command, because Kill Command does so much as pack leader. We're using our Call of the Wild. We've just got our Leok proc here, so all of our damage is amplified, and you will see this Warlock be put under so much pressure. He has to immediately duck behind a pillar and hide, but he cannot hide there for very long because our pets are just absolutely chewing him apart through pain suppression. As I quickly remember that my trinket isn't key bound because I pretty much geared this character up in less than a day. Went for a stun trap here onto the priest. We're swapping over to the warrior. I see my mage going after him, keeping pressure on 2 targets. Barb Shot on 2. We'll silence out of the trap here onto the enemy healer. You've got a nice combination of crowd control with things like Binding Shot, Freezing Trap onto healer. You can really take control of a lot of different situations, and you can just pump out a remarkably high amount of burst damage. Here we're going to go for a scatter shot, swap off the warlock to the warrior for a moment, as my mage is being pressured quite heavily, and I want to try and assist with him. We can also use scatter and root traps on the warrior to try and limit their uptime as well, but we are starting to feel a bit of pain here as the warrior is getting a lot of uptime with our current positioning. We get feared up, but we don't really care. We're going to swap back to the warlock. Cloth targets are definitely going to be a lot better overall. You can really pressure them. We force Dark Pact. I'm in a position here where we're trying to get ready to use Roar of Sacrifice on our mage because they're getting really low health, and Roar of Sacrifice is going to be great. We Binding Shot, Freezing Trap, landed on the healer. Warlock's isolated, smash Kill Command, get our Barb Shot still rolling, swap back to the warrior when he ports, keep pressure on 2 targets, stun the warrior behind the pillar, Leok proc. We know that we're going to be amping up a lot of damage here, but the warlock's also blasting us in the back line, so we got to be a bit careful here. We use Feign Death to soak some of the hits. We'll silence the warlock and limit their damage output as the priest has a barrier down, so unlikely that we're going to be able to kill in this window of time. I'd rather limit damage. We're going to interrupt the warlock, continue to limit their uptime, force Unending Resolve. We get feared up here. We're going to Trinket Exhilaration, heal ourselves up. Warrior got baited behind the pillar. He's rotting down, and look at this type of spread pressure that we have. Like, everybody on the opposing team is dying. We get a counter spell into a Freezing Trap. That forces the Trinket. We scatter the Trinket. We got him in kill shot range. We knock him off the side. We're just bang-a-ranging Rufio style right now. He's under so much pressure and still trying to go for the kill, classic warrior style, but it is not enough. He's not able to get on the target. We are able to close it out in game number 1, and Call of the Wild was about to come off cooldown in that second of the game as well. And I'll have my talent code linked in the description down below. It wasn't exactly full mastery, mostly because I'm still in mostly honor gear, and there is no mastery available on the honor gear, but I was focusing a bit more into mastery, playing pack leader, and it felt like my pets were basically Pac-Men eating all the little weak ghosts on the map when you're able to trigger that. And any clothy that got in their way, they just chomped them, just immediately collecting huge amounts of points. So now we got the warrior on our team. We're going to try and help him get uptime on the warlock. Warlocks absolutely hate us as a Beast Mastery Hunter. We just chomp them, get our Barb Shots off. Kill Commands are on cooldown. Now we can Beast of Wrath to start resetting. Call of the Wild. Try and get line of sight of the warlock here by disengaging off to the side. Roar Sacrifice the warrior because we know that he is not going to pull out. He is going to be staying in on top of the warlock the whole game, so we got to make him as tanky as possible. We land the stun into Freezing Trap with Intimidation, and we are really tearing this warlock to pieces, mashing the crap out of Kill Command, and just look at the pressure that you're able to build with just a few seconds. We're going to be using our scatter shot on the off target here because we're less likely to AoE with a warrior, especially a Fury Warrior. It's going to be almost all single target damage. So we can use scatter shots to disrupt the mage, limit their damage, break up their crowd control chains. They're going to be the main points. So combustion, or when your healer's in a polymorph, stopping them from getting a re-polymorph. Those are key moments where you're going to want to scatter shot. We use disengage here close to the wall to be able to jump back up on the Z-axis and just immediately start ramming down the warlock again. We get a binding shot down for this priest, and he sees that it's down and he's avoiding my trap. We get put into a polymorph, but now I see a Psychic Scream, and I can trap off this Psychic Scream. So Binding Shot hits the mage, trap off the fear. We got the warlock isolated. He gates midfield. I don't care. Bestial Wrath. Pets are on you, bro. You can't kite these pets forever. And we're starting to ramp up once again with massive Barb Shot damage, Kill Commands. We scatter shot the guy on his polymorph chain so he can't re-polymorph, and his combustion, and we're just going to chew this warlock. We're just going to absolutely dominate him. It is crazy how strong this specialization. I didn't actually think, like, I didn't expect Beast Mastery Hunter to get better than it was from last patch, and I feel like Beast Mastery representation as well on the ladder is not nearly as high as the power that I was able to experience with it last night, playing it just for a little bit, after kind of putting it on the back burner to Marksmanship Hunter. But having so many games now on Marksmanship Hunter relative to Beast Mastery, yeah, there is, I think, a significant gap. Now, yeah, sure, it's really fun. You get a massive aim shot, hit somebody for 5 million damage, but the consistent damage, just the momentum and pressure that you feel with Beast Mastery, like, I don't think almost any spec can create this, and maybe a Fury Warrior can create this. So now we're going to concussive shot the Warrior, try and limit the Warrior's uptime onto our Warlock by pressuring him. We know that he's going to go behind the pillars, and when he's overextending, we can stun trap his healer and try and interrupt crowd control incoming from the mage with our counter shot, so he can't peel, and we can start ramping up onto him quite heavily. Call of the Wild, Beast of Wrath. We got our kill commands all used. We got our Bob charts rolling. We've used Roar of Sacrifice and Master's Call as well, so our Warlock can use Kite freely away from the shatters and get the Roar of Sacrifice to reduce a lot of damage. Binding shot behind the pillar onto 2 players, trying to limit their uptime. Polymorphs are coming through. We don't have a kick just yet, and we're sitting this one through a little bit. Normally I do want to trinket those, but generally you shouldn't. We're going to use our Trank Shot to try and purge Altar. We don't get lucky, we don't purge it, so we just switch some damage over to the Warrior instead. And we're kind of just popping a wall here because he's hitting me with the lingering ending of the combustion. Root Trap into Freezing Trap, another great way to be able to get crowd control on a healer. You do want to be aware of their fade and their death, as they may trade that out. But we have great rot pressure. So with the Warlock, though, they're going to multi-dot. So put Barb Shot on multiple enemies and create pressure on multiple areas. Here I scatter the Warrior, but the scatter could have been good on the mage as well to stop the sheep. It does limit the uptime and the damage, but breaking CC chains can generally be more valuable, especially when your healer in this position has many cooldowns. We got Binding Shot on the priest here. We go for the root. We're trying to bait his fade. We're trying to bait his death. A bit overlapped with the fear. It's more of a solo shuffle moment there, but we do get the trinket and the pain suppression, so we're starting to get more and more cooldowns. Warrior's still getting some decent uptime though, so a bit worried about that. So I'm just pressuring the mage, trying to keep his kind of like feet on the edge. I don't want him feeling comfortable to just stand in on top of my Warlock. We scatter the Warrior away, trying to buy time as our healers and sheep, but we get critically low, almost go down. We get life swap off at the last second, continue mashing through. Kill commands, that forces Ice Block, just keep ramming damage when in doubt. Damage out, scatter and root traps on the Warrior, try and limit his uptime as much as we can here. We get a coil. We're trying to Trank Shot off some buffs here. Combustion for the mage, very scary moment in the game whenever that is up. We go for a Freezing Trap to try and pressure the mage, who we just forced Ice Block from. We stun the mage to stop some damage. We're so close to the kill at this point. I'm trying to drop down a scatter. I'm desperate, trying to buy him time. We stun him with Binding Shot, try and keep pressure on the mage, but the mage is recovered, so it's looking rough here in this position. Polymorphs are coming through. We'll kick that. We got Call of the Wild, and I should have shoved Call of the Wild right here. I tried to, but he blinks out of line of sight. I'm not able to get there. We disengage. He's so low. He's at 1% health, just barely holding on right now. Trying to give him whatever I can. Roar Sacrifice, we land a Freezing Trap, trying to pressure the mage. Call of the Wild's going crazy. Kill commands are coming out. It's so close. We proc his Cauterize. He invises with Intervene and denies the kill just for a couple of more seconds, and our Warlock is holding on by a thread at 5% health as we're rushing for the kill, but not able to get it. And we will finally drop a round in this lobby, but I don't know if we're going to be dropping many more than that. But you can see that it is super high intensity, super high pressure, has a lot of control, really well-rounded. It's not super keybind bloated either, so if you're a beginner intermediate level player, I actually think it's still a lot of fun, and it actually has more nuance to it, I think, than previous iterations of Beast Mastery Hunter. To be fair, it is still a Beast Mastery Hunter, so don't think that you're going to be like considered the next Einstein or something running around on this specialization, but I did think it was fun. I really liked the Binding Shots and the root traps and the scatters for all these kind of intermediary crowd control effects to try and anticipate who should I use this on and when and what's some optimal moments. So buying some distance here with the scatter on the Warrior, stun on the healer, into a Freezing Trap, kick the fear, and look at that. I'm just controlling the entire landscape of the game, and now we're going to start ramping up a lot of damage with our Call of the Wild, and we're just going to be going crazy here in a moment. We use Roar Sacrifice on the Warrior cooldowns. That's the Avatar and the Recklessness and the Blade Storm. That's going to be ramping the Warrior's damage a lot, and I don't want my mage getting critically struck during that time. We silenced the priest, and I don't know why, but my mage started shooting pyros at the priest, so I'm like, okay, I guess I'll hit the priest for a second, but that is generally not a good idea as a hunter comp. Attacking the healer like that, especially if you're a caster kind of hunter comp like this, is much better to CC the healer, stick onto the Clothies. So we get a polymorph, so I don't need to Freezing Trap the healer now that we got this, unless I want to try and trap the trinket, which I could since he did right here, but he's kind of positioning far away, so I'm just keeping my Barb Shot up, still ramping my damage. I like these sheeps on the Warrior, pulling the Warrior back away, sheeping him, and then pushing in on the Warlock. That can be a good way to get a lot of distance and build a lot of safety. We get a Frost Nova. We're going to disengage away from the Blade Storm. Don't want to stack up and get cleaved. We're waiting for that diminishing return on Polymorph. And we get it here with the stun into freezing trap. Our warrior's still kind of blasting the mage, but we're blasting the lock. We got another Leok proc. We got him called in there, and he's flying around in the sky, buffing our damage. And I don't know if I just got really lucky with procking Leok as much as I did, because Leok is one of the best ones that you can get. But the pack leader definitely giving you some really chonky damage. And we've got this priest on the corner of this pillar here. I could toss a root to try and disrupt their movement. Priests are generally very disrupted by root effects. I have to waste the spells, but we're just going to go for a scatter trap. I see the warrior getting low in the swap, so I switch my attention back to him for a moment. Probably not going to kill him through that red icon with a 5 on it. That's enraged regen. It reduces damage on the warrior, but he was in such a good position to swap to. There sometimes is a case where you might be able to take him down through that, but as soon as I see that that opportunity is lost, I'm just going to go back onto the Clothy, which is the warlock who's now in the middle of the map as opposed to behind the pillar. Our priest is getting pressured, so I'm tossing root traps on the warrior out of the fear, trying to help out with my healer here behind the pillar. I'm also rotting a bit, trying to get some slows on the warrior with concussive shot. We're getting polymorphs on the warrior. We got good control. It's kind of desperate here. I stun the warlock because the priest is on DR for a trap anyways. And then I try and trap him downstairs when he fell on his way back up. I'm mostly just trying to limit damage because we're in such a scary moment. We have not a lot of defensives. It's getting kind of scary. So I wanted to stall some damage. We get life swap, ultimate penitence into the sky, but the warlock ports behind the pillar. So we can disengage over here, trinket out of his fear, and just kill him through ultimate penitence, apparently, is what we can do. You can just absolutely just ram through and finish him with damage. Just never stop. Gas pedal always down, keep it to the floor the entire game. That's the type of specialization that Beast Mastery is. It's all about pressure and keeping your opponent kind of on the back foot until you eventually overwhelm them with just unstoppable damage in those positions. So I would highly recommend Beast Mastery Hunter. I'm surprised that like the charts haven't skyrocketed up as far as representation for it. Maybe it's because not a lot of Beast Mastery Hunters have tried the pack leader build with Master or something like that, but Beast Mastery, I think it's on the come up as maybe the best spec at the moment, at least when it comes to solo shuffle here. So we got camouflage. See warrior coming in. Could scatter him, so it buys time for my warlock to cast spells. And I toss a scatter and a root. This is going to get the gnome racial escape artist, but your trap is less than a 30-second cooldown, so you can trap in between those and land them. Then we're going to stun trap the healer. We get a coil onto the warrior, get barb shots up onto the warrior and the mage. Feign death some damage here and wall with the warrior on me. He's got cooldowns on me, so I want to make myself durable. Toss out a binding shot on the warrior. I'm focusing a lot more CC this time around on the warrior, because the warrior is going to be what really disrupts your warlock. It's like the counter to warlock is Fury Warrior. So if I can limit the warrior's uptime, keep pressure on the warrior, and get more crowd control on him, my warlock should have an easier time getting damage out. And we really only needed like a tiny bit more damage in order to win the last time that we had this matchup previously. So I'm using my silences on mage. I'm trying to limit damage during combustion. We'll scatter trap the priest out of that, and we'll continue to ram damage. I got enrage regen, that red icon again. Probably not likely to die there. So I'm going to switch some attention to the mage. I feign death to interrupt his polymorph. I disengage behind the pillar to line the polymorph, and now we're kind of pulling back out of line, dragging the warrior, catching him in a coil with a spell lock on the healer, tossing down root traps, shadow furies, really just trying to limit the warrior as much as possible in this matchup. And now my trap's coming off cooldown in about 4 seconds, so I'd really like to try and land that. We get a double binding shot into a freezing trap, perfectly timed with the DR. Swap back, that gets the priest trinket. We scatter his trinket. He's in kill shot range, but I'm stunned, and I really want to press it, but he gets life swap, but it doesn't matter. Look at this pressure that we have. This is working way better for us. We get a full fear on the priest's ultimate penitence, and there should be almost no way that this warrior survives, and it's a much smoother ride where we had way more pressure. We were in much more control of the game, focusing just a little bit more crowd control on the warrior in the opener and trying to limit their uptime onto our warlock to maximize our pressure. And this is something that a lot of players don't really consider when they're playing Beast Mastery Hunter, is that you have that level of utility that you can actually assist your teammates. A lot of Beast Mastery Hunter players, I think, they focus really hard on just tunneling aggression, but if you throw just a little bit of utility your way for your casters to help them, it's going to alleviate a lot of pressure on them, and they're going to get a lot more damage out and be able to deliver you a victory with a lot more likelihood. So definitely focus on doing that. But now we get the warrior. This is a gas pedal. Now we're the gas pedalers because we got the melee on our team. So we just want to get our warrior aggressive. We just freedom him first global. I don't want him getting CC'd at all. I want him on target. Call the wild, full barb shot stacks. We're going crazy. We got our stun trap here in a second for the healer. We're ramping up damage. We already forced wall. I can honestly hold the stun trap if I wanted to. Scatter the mage here as he's posting in aggressively. Silence the healer into a stun, into a trap. That forces pain suppression. We're killing him through it possibly here as we got 10 stacks of those healing reduction debuffs. We get a full fear on the priest. That gets the will. He almost dies through it. Probably a hellstone pop right there. And this is just full gas pedal, bro. This is probably one of the most fun comps actually with the Fury Warrior and the Beast Mastery Hunter against a Warlock. It just feels like they're glass and you're just shattering them the whole time. Now, combustion is up for the mage here in this position, so you might need to be a little bit cautious or trade some defensive cooldowns like a paint suppression. We scatter shot the priest here into a freezing trap, though, because we're just gas pedaling. We don't care. And that gets a void shift immediately out of that. Warlock's trying to go for a fear. I have feign death, and I have an interrupt available, so those are my two ways of trying to avoid crowd control on myself. We get a fear on the healer. Trinkets that immediately. Paint suppression at 14% and almost dying through it. I tried to disengage up, but you have to be like right next to the wall if you're going to disengage up successfully up that ledge. I get trapped here, and I'm trying to get Roar Sack on my warrior again. I just want him gas pedaling. I want him on the guy. I don't want him running away. Ultimate Penitence in the sky. We got a lot of Dire Beasts here coming out. We've got a Scorpion Sting to silence. We don't even need it. We're just going to absolutely munch him, take him out for lunch. And we were playing at 2300 MMR for one of our first games. This character, I think I still had a green weapon. So this character is going to get a lot stronger. He's going to get a lot more mighty. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown of the Beast Mastery Hunter and what I'm doing on it and what I'm doing to get fun out of it, what I'm doing to get success out of it. If you want to make sure that you're staying up to date with news related to World of Warcraft, educational and entertaining content, then make sure to smash that subscribe button. Your support is greatly appreciated, and I will see you in the next one.